Yo, what is going on, everybody? Hope you are having an amazing day, have been having an amazing week. My name is Luke Relfs, and welcome back to the channel where I am documenting my journey on creating a six-figure personal brand this year in 2024 and beyond. There's a couple videos I've been making as well where I am breaking down some concepts along with updating you guys every single week on what I'm doing and what I'm learning. So here is the week 2 update on my journey of creating this six-figure personal brand. And really quickly before we jump into it, I just wanted to say thank you so much if you are watching this. It genuinely means the world to me that whether you know who I am or not, you want to follow along on this journey, you clicked on this video, you'll hopefully watch through it and see what you can learn and just build along with me. I've already gotten a couple comments on my week 1 video just a while ago. I was so excited to see a couple random people I've never met before, I don't know at all, comment on the video and watching it. So I just wanted to say thank you to you guys before we jump in, but let's go ahead and talk about what I've been learning and update you guys on the week 2 of building my personal brand this year. And so one of the things I want to make clear is I have pretty high standards for myself as far as posting consistently. This is something I'm learning so much about, that you have to be consistent if you want to do that. I'll talk about this a little later if you want to do this and build your personal brand. And so I got to be real and honest with you guys and say that there was one day in the last couple weeks since I started this that I was super busy on a Sunday, literally from 6 a.m. to 9 p.m. and I didn't get a chance to sit down and create a video. At that point, I hadn't really documented anything that I could even chop up to throw a video out. And so I failed to post one day, not because I was busy, but because the hour or so before I left church, I was basically at church all day on this Sunday that I didn't post. And I knew that I could just throw up my phone, record a video and talk about some of the events that happened that night. But I was too fearful that people wouldn't like it, that it wouldn't be good enough quality. And so I failed to post because of that. And I think it's good to get to the very root of what is holding you back from posting the amount that you want to and all those different things. I think it's rarely that we don't have time, that we don't have the gear. It's typically some kind of underlying fear. And so I had to identify that for myself of why didn't I post that day? It wasn't because I didn't have enough time, but it was actually because I was scared that what I had been creating, or rather what I could have created that day, wouldn't chalk up to the things that I had been creating. And I was just scared that the quality wasn't going to be there. And so I got to keep overcoming that fear. That's my encouragement to you guys. And the lesson out of that is keep creating, do whatever you need to do to put a video out every single day. It's so necessary. And so that's part of my week 2 update, is that I had failed to post only one day. So I'm really happy about that. I had posted something every single day other than that the last week or two, but you got to get to the root of why you're fearful to post something up every single day. Another big lesson I'm learning is document, don't create. Really quickly, there's 2 things that I had the chance to document, and it created a bunch of opportunities for me to cut these meetings up and post them as videos, and I will be doing that if you follow along on my Instagram and see the content I post daily there. I had my first branding and strategy meeting and content strategy meeting with my buddy Sam Hogan, who owns Zealous Collective, a clothing brand here in Omaha, Nebraska, where I live. And so I decided that we should just set our phones up while we were at this coffee shop. I actually just uploaded the video on YouTube, so I'll have a link for that in the description. It's super cool. It's an hour long, so if you don't want to watch the whole thing, I get it, but there's some gems in there for sure. So I got to document that whole process, that whole meeting, and clip those things up for myself and for Sam. So that was a great example of document, don't create, just show what it is that you're doing. And then I had a call that I hopped on with some people from my church to talk about our young adult ministry, in which myself and my wife Delaney get to lead. And so there were a couple things I said on that meeting. I just set a camera up and got to document it. And now I'm releasing some clips on Instagram every day of that meeting. And so document, don't create, another big thing I've learned this week. One of these deals, and I will break this down a little bit, probably in a separate video, because I'm going to try and keep these as short, as sweet, and as possible. But the brand hub sheet that I have access to is so phenomenal. It's really just a way to list all the creators that you're influenced by, and then pull their tweets, their posts, their reels, their YouTube videos, and put them into an actual document where you can go to reference and pull ideas from. We'll talk about ideating ideas, or really creating ideas for your videos here in a moment. But one of the big things that I learned this week as well was how to create viral content. I actually actually am breaking this down in a full video that I will also put in the description, so go check that out if you want to learn a little more about how to create viral content. Something we talked about this week was why content gets shared, so let me run over a couple of these points for you. Again, in these videos, I'm not breaking anything down, so sorry if I'm just speeding through things. I'm really just trying to update you guys on what I'm learning, hear about if there's any concepts in these that y'all would like broken down into some separate videos. But part one of why content gets shared is that you need to define and reframe your idea of what virality is. The definition for me was just virality is the measure of how quickly an idea, product, or content spreads through word of mouth. That's why social media is so powerful, because it's essentially word of mouth but online, and you have access to so many people around the world. Another part is focus on the audience, not the algorithm. Focus on appealing to desires and emotions. A lot of people say that a swap out, if you will, for the word algorithm is audience. There are people behind the screens and devices that you need to appeal to, that you need to help and provide value to and educate on your journey. And so if the algorithm doesn't like you and you're not finding success on certain platforms, then really think about why your audience should be following you and what they're getting out of the content that you're sharing. I love this quote from Alex Hormozi. He said, "You'll need help on your journey. You need allies. And since there are more of them than there are of you, they are the key to getting there." And so again, that's why I'm trying to do this, to just document my journey and provide as much value to anyone who's watching this on the things I'm learning, so you can take it and run with it and go crazy and see some success as well. So another thing, I'll run through these 7 deals and then we'll wrap it up, but how to make content that people share. There were kind of 7 frameworks on why people would share content. Number 1 is social currency. We need to be creating content that makes people feel good and elevated socially when they share it. When someone shares something on their story, they are taking the authority from that, sharing it with their friends and family and followers, and inherently saying, I know this, or this is something that I want to put people onto, right? So if someone is sharing a piece of content, they're attaching your authority in which you shared it with to themselves. So you got to create content that gives people something and makes them feel good. So when they put it out to others, other people think they're essentially cooler, smarter, or what have you for sharing and knowing this and putting it on their story or whatever else for you to see it. Second one is triggers. This is just associating normal things with your content. The amazing example of this is Rebecca Black Friday. Anytime you hear the word Friday or the day of the week Friday, I think a lot of us that heard that song years ago think about that song Friday. Yeah, I'm not gonna go into it any more than that, but triggers, associating normal things with your content. Emotion. Really high emotion, no matter if it's a good or bad emotion, drive people to share things. You got to make people feel something when they view your content. That is super, super huge. Fourth one is public visibility. A prime example of this is Spotify Wrapped. Every year when people start sharing their Spotify Wrapped, if you don't know what that is, if you have Spotify, at the end of the year, it shows you like your top 5 artists and the top 5 songs that you listened to that year, how many minutes that you listened to music overall, all kinds of different stats. And every year, I'm sure most of you guys know that everyone and their mom posts these Spotify Wraps up on their stories on Instagram or wherever else. And so public visibility is a really big part of why people share content. And so that's a perfect example. Again, I'll rock through these really quick, but these were so good. Practical value is a part of it. And so the first part of practical value is form value. This is value that someone derives from products or services in a way that they actually need. It transforms something they have into something that they want. Again, I'm not going to break these down too much. If you want to know more about it, let me know in the comments and I may create a video breaking these down more, but just trying to riff through these. The second one, as far as practical value, is time. Value that someone derives from receiving something when they demand or when they need it. A prime example of this is goal setting frameworks at the end of the year. That's something that a lot of people would be interested in. Makes sense for them to buy or utilize something like that in the time of December before the new year rolls around. Number 3 is place. Value that someone derives from making things available in locations that allow them to easily access it. An example of this is physical in online stores, Amazon. It's so easy to access Amazon and buy something and get it shipped to you in a couple days, or an in-person event. If someone's touring around, it's more accessible for you to go to a concert or a seminar, if you will, in your city than to travel hours and hours to go to it. That's an example of place value. The last one is possession value, value that someone gets from owning a specific product and being able to use it as soon as possible. So an example of this is buying one full outfit, but being able to use it in multiple different ways, being able to use the jacket and style it in a way, the pants and style them in a different way with another outfit, shoes that translate for multiple outfits. You buy it all together, but you can use it. Possession value, you can split it up and use it in different ways. And the last one, as far as these 7, again, why do I keep holding up a 4? I don't know. These 7 frameworks for why people share content. The last one is stories. We have to become savant storytellers as content creators if people are going to connect with us and our message. Story formulas put everything in order so you don't have to work to understand what is going on. So if you can figure out how to write out those 7 different things and apply them to the content that you're creating, it's going to be way more shareable. The chances of it going viral are going to increase a lot. And so I hope some of that stuff can help you guys. Again, the mindset things with addressing the fears or the hangups that you have as to why you can't create a piece of content every day, why you can't put a YouTube video out every week, or whatever you think would be structured and would work best for you. Those things are really, really important as well. And so I hope you guys enjoyed this week 2 update. Continue following along on this, subscribe, like this, comment anything that you want to see broken down. And again, in the description, I'll link those 2 videos, the whole branding and content strategy meeting that I had with my friend Sam, and then the video breaking down more so how to create viral content. So let's keep plugging along. I'm so excited to keep sharing these different things. YouTube's going to be one of my favorite platforms to build on and to share with. Genuinely, when I look at this camera, I don't trip out. I know that I'm talking to someone on the other end, potentially of the world, but on the other end of the screen. And I'm really just hoping that you are in on the journey of doing this. And I hope you're building a personal brand and building an online business for yourself as well, along with me as you learn all these things. So again, thank you all so much for watching. Like Alex Hormozi said, I'm nothing without the people that support me and watch my content. And so I hope this was helpful for you guys. And I will catch you next week for our week 3 update of building a 6-figure personal brand in 2024. But y'all have an amazing day. Thanks so much for watching. Peace.